You've heard me talk about the books I picked up simply because of the Booktok hype. Now I'm going to let you know some books that deserve more hype and you definitely need to pick up. Let's go. You entitled brat. Terror. Get it together. I don't believe any of you. 5 star, 5 star. That was my husband. Oh my goodness. And take your nonsense elsewhere. This is giving. Okay, first and foremost, it's one of my absolute favorite books ever. I read this last year, and when I tell you, this had all the vim that I needed at that point in time, and that is Blood Scion by Deborah Falaye, and the sequel War Widow is coming out later this year, and I am beyond hype. And the fact that TikTok is not picking up on this is really upsetting me and my homegirls, because why? So this is a book based on West African, specifically Yoruba mythology. So obviously fantasy. It focuses on a young girl named Sloane. Yes, this is YA, but believe me, that does not mean it's not popping. It's a young girl named Sloane. She lives in a society where people who are from that culture, Yoruba culture, basically just Africans, they're in the lower caste of society after the colonizers came into their world and took everything that they own. But basically people from the Yoruba tribe, some of them are sometimes blessed by the gods with some powers, but if you are one of them, then the colonizers will come and unalive you. And so she's been hiding her powers all this time. Her mom went away one day and just didn't come back, and so she just knows that her mom's dead, but she still needs, she's still holding out hope, and she's just like, I need to just know what happened to my mom, because basically her mom disappeared the same time as her best friend's dad, and so now everyone in society is thinking that they ran off together, which is not the case. But basically, yeah, so she's living with her granddad, and basically she suspects that her mom basically just got killed, because whoever lives in that caste, you have a curfew, as if you're not grown adults. You have a curfew, you're meant to be inside by a certain time. If they catch you out, they have a right to do whatever they want with you. Usually they kill you. And the colonizer kingdom, they have an enlisting process every year, and if you get unlucky, you get drawn. And so she gets unlucky, she gets drawn, she goes, and then she resolves within herself to, while she's training, she's going to find out the truth about what happened. She's going to sneak into their document place that holds all the information, and then she's going to find out what happened to her mom. So this is literally like blood. This is like, it's bloody, because they go through a lot of trials. It's insanely intense, the trials, because not everyone makes it out, and it's really deadly because they're really just trying to get the best of the best, which makes them take you through the worst of the worst of the trials. And so she goes through this trial, and while going through these trials, she discovers a lot, and quite frankly, a war is brewing. There's a prophecy that's revealed to her, and she's just like, does it involve me? What am I meant to do? Like, there's a lot going on. When I tell you that this book, I read this in one night. I stayed up till 2 a.m. reading this book. This book is insane. It is amazing, and you guys need to pick it up, and Booktok needs to get on this, because what are you guys doing? Next, and this is so funny, next is a book that I read around the same time as Blood Scion, and quite frankly, it's funny to me because these books are so similar, but at the same time so different. And that book is The Blood Trials by N.E. Davenport. Now, this is actually an adult book. Yeah, so that's one of the major differences between this book and Blood Scion. But this book is about another society where certain people are outcast, and usually it's the black people in it. So Ikenna, a young girl, she's living with her grandfather as well, because her mother died, and I don't think she ever knew her father. And she's black, and she's ostracized because she's black in this community. But her granddad is actually a really big general, and everyone respects him. And so that's one of the only reasons she actually has privileges, and people can't really openly do too much to her. But her granddad has died. Now, in this society, the people here in Marine, they're actually against, the people where she originally come from, the Yoruba people. They're not named that, but they're from Yoruba people. That's her original tribe. They're, on war with Marine because those people have powers in their bloodline, and they can summon powers from the gods. Now, she also has these powers, but once again, she's keeping these hidden because that will just sentence her to death. And she just wants to be accepted, and so she wants to join this elite force of Marinian soldiers, join the army and prove that she's worthy of being there. And then her grandfather died, and so she loses all will to do everything. She's just going through this grief process, and then she finds out that her grandfather was actually murdered. And so she gets her resolve back to join the army, but she's only doing that so she can find out who murdered her grandfather and get her revenge. So like you can see, very, very similar to Blood Scion, but this has more like tech in it. This is very much more like, you know, futuristic, more tech in it, but it has the same savagery. But because it's not young adult, it's fully adult. This has way more brutality in it. The language is stronger, but honestly, this book had me hooked. I was rooting for Ikenna from beginning to end. There was so much back and forth in terms of like who should we be suspecting in terms of the mystery. But at the same time, I was kind of just like, I suspect someone, and it better not be that. Like, it really just had you hooked, and you want to support her. Like, there's great found family in this as well, which is why it had my heart, because you guys know my love for found family is strong. And in the end, like, the war that was already like brewing in the background comes to the foreground, and after the mystery gets revealed and some betrayals are had, like, even more war is happening and more battles are to come. So this book needs to be picked up on TikTok, because what are you guys doing? Oh my goodness, absolutely amazing. And the fact that it's also based on Yoruba mythology, I was just like, another West African mythology based book. You had me hooked. Absolutely amazing. Pick it up. I'm not even joking. Pick it up now. Now, the next book is actually a book that is really, really old. It's not really, really old, but it's old. So it's not like something that TikTok would probably pick up now. But I'm just like, the fact that this author has actually been getting hype, but then not for this book, I'm upset, because I'm just like, this is one of the originals. I know you guys are liking, you know, her works now, but this is one of the books that you guys should be hyping up. Like, it's so great. And that book is The Queen of All That Dies by Laura Thalassa. I know that her Four Horsemen series and her Rhapsodic series are really where it's at for you guys on Booktok and Bookstagram. But you know what? This book is what introduced me to Laura Thalassa before any of you guys had any idea who she was. This book is, I seem to like a lot of books based on war and military. I wonder if that should be concerning. Oh well. But yeah, so let's say we're in America, and there's one side, the one who are technically the rebels, because there's one dictator who's basically taken over the entire world, you know, that's Montez, okay? So he's taken over most of the world, but then there are some people who are just like, we don't like you just taking over everything, you know, they're the rebels and they're rebellion forces. And then one day he has like the you know, what do you call it? The envoys come over to, you know, discuss maybe a treaty. And Serenity, she's the daughter of the main envoy, and then she goes along and she meets King, and obviously she hates him. And then Riff goes to Raph, yeah? And then something happens, and then she ends up being offered, like, this isn't her choice, she was offered against her will, as, you know, a wife to him. He doesn't have any wives, so it's not like multiple marriage or anything, but then she was offered to him as the peace treaty, you know, you can have her if, you know, we just call it a peace. And so she goes, it's, you know, and obviously you see where this is going, enemies to lovers, but then like she's just like, you know what, I hate you, you're against me. And he's just like, do you even know me? Do you actually know the real politics, or what you've been taught? So it's really about like another case. This isn't even brainwashing, but it's more so, it's very evident like what you're raised with and what you're told is what you will fully believe. Because as she is more in close proximity with him, she's realizing that maybe he isn't evil after all. Like, so misunderstood villain a bit. And you know, with misunderstood villains, as I explained before, that misunderstood villains, they do evil things, but at the same time, we do it because the world needs a villain, and I will take on that role if I can make the world a better place for people who I care about. And so we get a lot of that. So it's about her, like, you know, trying to destroy him from within, and also trying to help her people from within. But then as this is happening, like, you know, she discovers more of who he is, and so her loyalty starts to shift. But then like the war is still raging, even though they sent her over as a peace treaty. That peace treaty was in peace, isn't it? But yeah, so a lot goes on. It's a trilogy. As you can tell, I've abused this book. I read this book so many times. Like, this book has no color. The pages almost start to tear out. Like, I need a new copy. But like, I love the covers. I love this cover so much, and the new cover I don't really care for. So that's why I'm holding on to this like a raggedy copy. But honestly, I think TikTok, if you guys are going to give Laura Thalassa her props, you guys also need to recognize that this book is where it's at. Get into it, okay? Okay, next is a book that I cannot believe that I'm hyping up as much as I am, but I love it so much with all of my heart. Now, the reason I can't believe I'm hyping it up as much as I am is because it's romantasy. So not only like, yes, it's fantasy, but there's a very, 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 very like big part of it that's romance. And you guys know me, like I resist romance a lot. But if it's good writing, it's good writing. If it's good story, it's good story. If it's good plot, it's good plot. And that's exactly what this book is. The Rat and the Wrath and the Dawn. Absolutely amazing book. So this is a story about a kingdom, and basically what happens is Khalid, the caliph of like this kingdom, he basically takes, for the last like couple months, he's been taking like a new bride, but then the women don't live to see the morn. Like he kills them in the morning, and so obviously the kingdom is just like, bruh, what is wrong with this dude? What's going on now? And I feel so bad. So Shahrazad, she has just lost her best friend because her best friend was the recent bride that has been and so she is like committed. She's just like, you know what? Because then what happens is like Khalid, he chooses, and so if you're unlucky to be chosen, but she's just like, I am going to volunteer. I volunteer as tribute. So she volunteers, and so that's already like the minute he meets her, he's just like, why'd you volunteer? But she's volunteering because she's just like, I'm going to kill him. He's not gonna hurt any more families the way he's hurt mine, because that was her best friend and everything. So she volunteers, and then by doing that, she is the first woman to ever survive the night, because her scheme works well in terms of like postponing like her getting killed in the morning, and she did it in a very sly way. And in my head, I'm just like, this shows like that the king Khalid, the caliph, Khalid, that he's still like boyish, because the way that she convinced him to not kill her, I was shocked. I was just like, so it's that easy, huh? But guys, this book, when I tell you, it had me hooked, and I fell in love, and I'm still in love with this book with all of my heart. It has my soul. Every part of me belongs to this book. And the fact that it's romantic, I'm just like, how do I love you so much? Because like there's a mystery of like, why is he doing it? Because one day he just randomly started killing women, and so people are just like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this? How have we hurt you? And then like people in his life actually seem committed to him. Like, why are you committed to someone who's apparently a monster? And Shahrazad, how are you actually going to kill him? And then like the more she knows him, the more she's kind of like, the enemies to lovers, falling for him. So it's kind of like that internal struggle of like, you're presenting to me as someone who's not a monster, but at the same time you're a monster. You killed my best friend. Unless you tell me what is going on behind the scenes, that I can maybe see that you're not a monster. So like there's this that overarching mystery happening, and obviously you have people in Shahrazad's life, her boyfriend, and her dad, who are just like, no, we don't want to lose her. So after she survived the night, they're now like planning a whole coup on the kingdom to rescue her, not knowing that Shahrazad is in the background falling in love with this man, and getting the secrets to probably save the kingdom. And so it's like a blending of multiple plot lines, multiple like storylines, but whoo, it's a vibe. And I know that some people have spoken about this, but I'm just like, more people actually need to speak about this, because it's absolutely so amazing. Such a beautiful read, such an amazing book. And for those of you who love romance, why are you not getting on it? It's actually amazing. I'm giving you romance, so why are you not accepting? Pick it up. Okay, next is only a book that I've only just recently read, but who cares? I read it, and I fell in love. So you know what? All of you, A Magic Steeped in Poison. Chinese mythology, a magic system that I've never seen executed before, and it was executed well. Beautiful authenticity in terms of like incorporating real culture, real Mandarin, like the real language in it, and really just a storyline to snatch your soul. Like, why wouldn't I be telling you guys to pick this up? Because you should. So basically, in this society, there are some who brew tea who actually have the ability to infuse magic in their tea, so they can read minds, they can hurt, they can poison, they can heal, they can do a lot. But out of nowhere, for the last like few months or whatnot, there have just been someone who's just been going around poisoning these people, just poisoning commoners. And our girl Ning, her mom fell victim, and her sister has been poisoned, but her sister, hasn't died yet. And Ning is feeling guilty because she's the one who gave the tea to her mom. Like, not like the sense like, she knew what the tea was, but she was just like, I should have been more vigilant in checking the tea, considering there have been a string of recent poisoning. So she feels guilty. And then the royal family, they're just like, oh, we have an opening for, a tea brewer. I said this before and I'll say it again. I'm still learning how to say the proper word for tea. I just don't want to butcher the pronunciation, okay? But there's an actual word for it. And so she's just like, if I win, and I know that the crown is rumored to have like this big thing that can like heal anyone. So she's just like, if I go and I win, I can win that for my sister and save her from that door. And so she goes and she's trying to win. There's politics working behind the scene. There's a little bit of romance in there. There's a potential coup happening. She gets intertwined with the princess. Not from her own desire, but like the princess pulls her into like a scheme. So now she's not just working to win something for her sister. She's now working to solve mysteries and stay alive and like earn the respect of people around her, like, and also kind of find out her mom's life before her, because apparently her mom used to be working in the palace. So now it becomes this overarching mystery, and then like we have people all around us and we don't know who's a friend or an ally. It's just such an amazing book, and I'm just like, guys, maybe because I don't have history with it, as long as my other books, that you guys are not believe me when I say this book is amazing. But believe me, have I led you guys astray before? No, this book is great. Pick it up. No joke. Next book is also a book I read recently. So, I don't know if you're going to come at me, but, I read it, didn't I? And when I tell you, I've only spoken about this book recently on this page as well, about like how it's like a fantasy to rival all fantasies, and that is the Final Strife. And when I tell you this book, it's just there are people who are great at world building, but this takes it to a whole nother level. Like world building, and it includes obviously the physical world, actually describing it so that we can see the world. But then when you are including histories, when you are including like the backstories of like previous rulers, when you are giving us actual like a background, as if I'm reading a history book on a world that truly exists, then you're world building for me, because I know the culture of these people. I know the history of these people. I know the beliefs of these people. I know the God that they serve. I know everything. And I'm just like, that is a world built to rival all worlds, because I know everything about the people here. So this book is about a society where there are 3 like caste, and that caste is dependent on your blood type. Red bloods can actually like they have powers in their blood, so like they're the highest caste because they're just like, we have power in our blood. Blue blood, they're like the middle caste technically, because they're right under the red caste. And so they're like basically the servants. They don't have much rights. They have no power, and they're scraping by in terms of like their society. They're just all poor. Now the clear bloods, so basically the clear bloods were once kind of on the same level as the blue bloods, but then they had a revolution and they lost. So what happened is that their tongue got cut out. Like, so now they're not even second class citizens. They're treated worse than animals. They're like basically dogs. So yeah, that's the caste system here. And then so our one of our main characters, Scylla, she's basically a swap. So basically what happens is that this organization, this rebellion, they came up with a plan to do a swap. So they would swap like 12 kids in the middle of the night. They would take red bloods and they would swap them with blue blood. So what they would do is that they would raise kids with red blood with like the belief and the belief system of a blue blood, so that even though you have the blood that makes you powerful, you stand with us, so that when we thrust you into society for you to rule, you can be on our side and actually make a change in society. Because every 10 years there's this competition where like the pillars of society, it's like strength, mind, which is knowledge, truth. I can't remember all the pillars, but then there are these pillars, and military. No, that's strength. Oh well, they rule society. So then like this rebellion, they're just like, once we swap the kids, we like one day when they have the competition, we can make them go to the competition, and though they're red blood, they will be on our side and they will change society for the better. Now, Scylla was one of the children that were swapped, but something happened, and like now she's like going through grief, and so she wasn't gonna enter the competition, but then something happened, and then she got her energy to enter the competition again, but something happened again that ruined that. And then we have another girl, Honor. She's another one of our FMCs. She's a blue blood. She was one of the blue bloods that were taken to the castle, and I think she's one of the only ones that survived, because I think they killed everyone because her mother was she was so ashamed that they infiltrated her house. She's just like, I'd rather you just live with me and people don't know. But her mother obviously hates her because she's like a blue blood. Um, and then Scylla and Honor cross paths, and then the way that the story goes, obviously the competition, the trials that must happen. Like we go through the trials, but then so much is happening around here that it's just like, okay, so rebellion is brewing. People are escaping, people are getting killed. There's a secret that the Red Bloods are keeping from everyone, and then there's a mystery of like what's going on outside of the kingdom, and the history that we've been taught, is it real? There's a lot going on. And there's another FMC that I forgot to mention as well. Her name is Hassa. She's a clear blood. So we have all three bloods in our main FMCs. And she's literally working in secret. Even us as the readers, we didn't know what the heck was going on until like the last like 100 pages. We're just like, so you're a part of there's another secret organization, and they're doing what now? And oh my goodness, you have what mystery revealed? So she's Sila's friend, and then obviously Sila introduces her to Honor, and so now there's a whole trio with different bloods going around, and we're just waiting to see what all the mysteries that they are all keeping, all the secrets that they're all keeping, waiting for them to be revealed to each other, and for some of them to us. We're waiting to see what happens at the end of the big competition, who wins and who gets power, what's going to happen. We're waiting to see what's the next step. Are we going to go out into full blown out war? And we're going to see, like, is there going to be a rebellion? Like, we love seeing rebellion in these books. So there's so much in this book, and it's just so great. And I'm just like, considering Red Queen is one of like TikTok's favorites. They keep bringing it up, even though it's such an old book. I'm just like, why isn't this book getting more hype? This book is way more developed in terms of like the world building. We have multiple perspectives because of like the variety of characters we have, and we're getting points of view from each and every single one of them. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, guys! A world built on like, this culture with like diversity, a beautiful black woman, and really just such an amazing world. And you guys are not giving it the hype it deserves. Get it together. I keep saying this. Get it together. And I mean it. Okay. The last book, but most certainly not least, of the books that TikTok, I feel like you guys need to hype it a bit. I know that Bookstagram hyped this book a bit, but then they kind of like lost the plot and forgot about it. And no. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. This book, when you're kind of just like, a book just sticks with you. Like, all these books stuck with me, but I don't know, there was just something about this book. It was kind of like, it was soft in a way, as in like the stakes were high, but then I felt more at peace reading this book. With all the other books, I was kind of at a panic state of mind at all points in time. But this book, it was so much more soft, and it's like I was flowing with it. Like, it's underwater, and to actually go through like this world. Also, vivid imagery is something that I love. To go through the underwater world, underwater spirit world, and go through the adventures with our girl. I was over here like, yes, I was with it. Now, so this story is about a girl named Mina. Now, in their world, that like her town has to like sacrifice the prettiest girl every year so that the storms don't destroy the town. And so like the prettiest girl is her brother's girlfriend. And so she was about to be sacrificed, and her brother was chasing after her because he's just like, I can't give up my girl. And then like, so Mina's chasing after the brother because she's just like, I can't lose both of you. So what happens is Mina ends up being the one thrown overboard, but then it actually calms the ocean. So people were just like, well, it worked. And so she ends up in the underwater like palace, and then she sees like is it the Dragon King, because he's the one who's been causing the waves. So she sees him, and she's just like, wait a minute, this little boy's asleep, and this is a little boy. Are you the one ravaging us? Why are you asleep? Why won't you listen? And so she ends up there, and she's just like, maybe if I can wake him up, maybe like that's probably why the storms keep raging, because he's asleep and he doesn't know what's going on. So if I can wake him up, I can fix it. And then like she like ends up being separated from, as in like she was kicked out because of meddling forces. And then so she now has to find a way to like not only get back, but she knows where it is, but she needs to find a way to, one, retrieve her soul because it was taken from her when the people meddled, and find a way to wake up the king, because she's just like, he's the only person who can stop it. So the adventures that she goes through the soul world, the people that she meet, like the little found families that are formed. The found families that are formed, guys. Okay. I really loved it, and I genuinely need, like, we didn't even get an epilogue, and for a book like this, I needed an epilogue, or like a second book so I can see like the way like everything was revealed, because like some things weren't making sense. We're just like, we're doing all of this and things aren't getting resolved, and it just seemed like as everything was going to get wrapped up, like it still wasn't making sense. And so it finally got wrapped up and we're just like, oh, okay. But then I'm just like, but there's more. There has to be more. I need more, and I need a sequel, but I don't think we're gonna get one. But like, she didn't even give us an epilogue, and I needed one so badly, so badly. This book, this is what I mean. This book stayed with me because it was beautiful, vivid imagery, like just a beautiful adventure from a young girl. And then we got like, you know, some great fun. You know, we got some battles as well, which was great fun. But then we also like just got amazingly beautiful found family and like just a little subtle hint of romance that was so sweet. You know, I'm gonna reread this. Yeah, I'm gonna read this. But yeah, TikTok, where you guys at? You guys had it up for all of 2 seconds and then you guys were gone. Get it together. Just being temperamental babies. Get it together. Consistency now, TikTok. Get it together. But yeah, TikTok needs to get on it. But yeah, those are all the books for now. I'm definitely just like, I don't know why TikTok is so slow to get on reel for hype. And I know some people are just like, oh, it's just the feed that you're on. It's just the corner of TikTok that you're on. No. Because I spent lots of time, like I spent months curating my TikTok feed so that I am not on Coho TikTok. I'm not on Coho TikTok. I'm not even on SJM TikTok. You know what? I've made sure that my feed is definitely with people who are here to give me diverse reads, different reads to what I'm seeing on TikTok, and really just like amazing fantasy recs. And I've gotten a few, yeah, but it's just like, even people who I trust, I'm just like, why are you guys not on these books? There's conversations to be had. And y'all need to do better. But yeah, I will need you guys to pick up every single one of these books. The links are going to be in my bio, my Benable, so make sure you guys go and get them. So go pick them up and let me know what you think. But until then, see you next time. Be sure to like, comment, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Okay? Bye.